question from the audience here.
Comment for the opposition.
We're not going to take comments, sorry. You'll have to do a question.
Question from the opposition. We've had some talk today about the URP's rushed policy. Wouldn't you say this kind of fleeting proposal for a much larger national wireless network is even more rushed than the URP's proposal for an even smaller network? You're now proposing a bigger one that would be more expensive.
So the question is,
isn't it rushed, even more rushed, to propose a larger network this morning in a sort of a press conference?
So
how are you different from the URP?
So for those of you who didn't hear the question is effectively, is it a more rushed to propose a wireless nation proposal after a week, within a week after the announcement of the wireless city by the government? Is that what you're? Okay. Adriana did it.
I can see where you're coming from, but I think that as our shadow ministers brought up, we've got evidence of these systems having worked in other countries. It has worked in Japan. So it's systems that have already been put into place elsewhere, which we can replicate here, if that sort of makes sense. Whereas this wireless city project, while it's been done elsewhere, it won't have the same kind of impact, same kind of positive impact as connecting the nation wirelessly will.
But surely the wireless nation is simply a wireless city on a national scale, so it will be significantly more expensive. I mean, if we go on a population count, it will be 21 times more expensive. Nationwide, over a very large coastal nation, there is. So surely the opposition needs to be able to say how it's going to fund a dramatic blowout in having a wireless nation.
Sure, but the difference is it's not the same project. It's not a wireless city on a national scale. It's not a database collating historical information. It's about connecting everyone to wireless internet easily across the nation and in rural areas. Not making it the same, not using the same policy on a larger scale, but a totally different policy that we think will benefit the nation.
RHONA Jones.
I guess to answer that question, it kind of shows in the next few weeks whether or not it is rushed, if they have it thought of or not, with further policy announcements I'm sure they'll make. I would say though that if it is a well-thought-out plan and that it's something they didn't come up with this morning, that they should have released it before today so that there could have been more time in the public to have it digested, so that it wasn't so, it didn't come across as rushed at least.
I believe that we've got a Twitter. Something maybe on the mouse around. So I haven't really had funding cuts from the government on the broadcaster. If you just refresh it.
Refresh it now.
Press F5. And then scroll down to the bottom. Yes, that's the one out there. This is from one of our own panelists, Christopher Lloyd, and I think it was a very good point for today's presentation by the opposition in their own reply, where they've referred to, we know what happens there, what happened there in terms of Nazi Germany. We do know what happened there. There were exterminations of hundreds of thousands of Jews, and they're making no reference to the national government of Incognita. I mean, is this, in your opinion, as a reporter, the opposition really clutching at straws in terms of trying to win the public debate and resorting to, fairly petty, below the belt and insensitive remarks?
It's a question for me.
It's a question for you.
I should point out I don't actually know who this water person is. Christopher of the Incognitian. But I do guess he does touch quite astutely on a very pressing issue of an increasingly kind of inflammatory rhetoric that we do find in the political spectrum today. Obviously, this is just one example of kind of discussion that rather than focusing on debating the issues at hand, focuses on
equating leaders with Hitler and ill thought out wireless hotspot plans with the Holocaust, which I don't think is entirely appropriate, but until the government actually start voicing some good ideas, I suppose that is the best we can expect from political dialogue in this country. Now that I have the microphone, I'll say since both of the key policy announcements that the government has put forward, both Wireless City and the ID card have been almost universally panned by both voters and the public, and in the face of the last 3 weeks, all this kind of sliding voter appreciation, voter opinion of the government in the face of these policy announcements. They've been changing it every week in the face of focus group opinions and trying to make things more appealing to voters. I'm just going to ask the government, instead of just changing every few weeks and continuing to water down your policy announcements, why not simply take a decisive stance and call an election?
Well, I would say that as all policies, they go through rigmarole and discussions and debates, and they are always adapted. It's very rare for a proposed policy or bill to go through government first time without change. So we are continuing to work on policies, as I've said before. And that's not really a question for me as to whether an election is going to be called or not. So that's all I have to say.
Yeah, right.
So are you saying that the government has no plans of ever having an election and plan on ruling forever in some kind of authoritarian dictatorial environment? I don't know, is that what the implication of that is? I'll let the viewers and the voters decide. I'll just point out that from the media, from the Incognitian, we are not anti-government wedges, we just are holding them to
I know what this means. I suppose it does raise an issue though, because if, as the Incognita believes, these are fairly insensitive statements, but that the government has got such an unpopular policy, surely the opposition doesn't need to resort to those sorts of talks in a public sphere. Surely that reflects just as badly on them as does poor government policy. I might ask Mr. Tom Bosworth.
Well, as a member of the Incognitian public, it's a bit alarming that the governments are kind of being so childish and kind of baiting each other and rising to the challenge, I guess. I think Incognita, the URP won on the basis that they're a very stable government, that they were all for the Incognita good, but they seem to just be fighting all the time with POLO, and I guess that's part of democracy, is having different opinions, but you've got to do it respectfully, and at the moment it's not being done respectfully.
Do you want to say your comment?
Yeah, I guess I agree with that. It seems that politics has stooped down to playing childish games again instead of actually coming up with proper policies and returning each other's, policies and coming up with something better, I guess, yeah.
Yep.
What does the opposition have to say to this?
I think that it's important to note that we're not the only people who have drawn authoritarian conclusions from these kind of policies. Again, in Australia, the press was outraged, public figures were outraged at these ID proposals and the infringements that it made on civil liberties.
But surely it doesn't justify making, allegations that this is all connected to some sort of Nazi conspiracy in the government.
May I?
I'm actually interested in the opposition's response.
But the Defence Minister himself did invite comparisons to dictatorships.
But surely,
No, I didn't.
surely,
Whoever it was, I forget.
surely,
Rupert, no.
the question is for the opposition spokesperson. Surely the opposition's, deputy leader of all people shouldn't be coming out and making those comparisons.
It's no surprise that it's not favourable with the public when...
No, I'll take that as a comment. I'm just interested to hear what the response is from the opposition.
I don't think that there was any serious suggestion that there was to be a rise in National Socialism in Incognita. I think that the comments have been taken slightly out of context, and that it was just really a comment on the abuses of power made by governments.
All right. Questions
from the audience? Yes.
Can the Defence Minister please just confirm where they were born?
Yes, we've actually had this question quite a few times on Twitter and other areas. Yeah, the Defence Minister, there's been allegations of actually North Korea. Is this true?
Just where you were born. That's all.
I am a citizen of Incognita. I am not North Korean. I was born in North Korea, but that was not your previous question. Your previous question was, am I North Korean? That is incorrect. I was born in North Korea, but I am a citizen of Incognita, and I work for the people of Incognita.
So how come it says that you were born in South Korea on the public file?
We have a long-form birth certificate.
Let's not have another President of the United States birth certificate scandal here. I'm telling you now that I was born in North Korea.
And if that's the case, because everybody that's born in North Korea has to swear allegiance to Kim Jong-il.
How's she going to swear allegiance when she's a year old?
I'll take that as a comment.
And the next question is that they don't really let people leave North Korea. That means you're probably an asylum seeker. So,
I'm a citizen of Incognita, so I don't see what relevance you're trying to make, and I don't see how that's a question.
And I'll take the second or final question there as a comment. We've got another one up here.
Will Florida inconsistent nationality information such as yours be on the ID card?
So the question is, if someone does have flawed or inconsistent information based on their country of birth, would that appear on the citizen's card?
Well, the information that is already available, which is legal information, will be on the cards.